You are about to listen to a Jason Burgos exclusive interview. I'm good. I mean, it's not every day I get to talk to one of the best fighters alive and ever. So I'm, excited to talk to you. I got a bunch of questions, all kinds of topics. So first, I want to go to the New Era event, your debut for One Championship. Now, I watched footage on Wakamatsu before your fight, and I was impressed with him. Because, I had to do research. I did, like, an interview with him. I got his story and stuff. Now, he gave you some difficulties in that first round. Was he better than you expected, or was him being bigger and strong something that helped him more than some fans may be aware of because of, like, the differences in weight for one and the UFC flyweights?
Well, I think at the end of the day, Yuya Wakamatsu is a great athlete. Just because he's not known in the mixed martial arts community over in, North America doesn't mean he's a lesser opponent. So I knew he was going to be tough. I knew it was going to be tough to do to him. He's a striker. That's his bread and butter. So his striking is going to be phenomenal. You see it all the time in the world. When guys go up against somebody who specializes in striking, they're going to have a little more. We're going to have a harder time unless we're both specialists in striking, which, I like to look at myself as a specialist in everything where, if I can strike the guys, then I'll do it. But if I need to, I can actually use my wrestling too.
Now, you knew about the size variations going into working for one, and it showed a little bit in the first fight. The last time we talked, you mentioned the story that Frankie Edgar's father told you about fighting lightweights was, like, detrimental to his health. Do you worry about that same kind of thing now that you may more often fight larger men, or it really isn't that big of a difference?
Well, that's a little bit different, right? Because in One Championship, everybody's weighing exactly the same. So, for example, I walk around about 104. I woke up this morning with 140.8. I had 2 bowls of Frosty Flakes, and I also had chicken, some Brussels sprouts, or whatnot. So I'm pretty much eating whatever I want right now, and I'm only 140.8. The other day I woke up 142.2. So I'm walking around, I'm pretty much essentially overweight for my weight class, right? Because I have to weigh in 2 times, fully hydrated, in order to compete. So all these athletes, they'll diet down and they'll be, 135.5. Not 135, they'll be 135, and then when you try to, like, blow back up, put the weight back on, you're not going to be able to like it was in North America. Like, when I fought the UFC, I would walk around, I'll show up to fight week weighing like 140, then I'll, power cut all the way down to 125, and I'll step into the, octagon weighing 141, 142. This time, I probably stepped into the cage weighing 130. After I got done fighting, I weighed 162 kilograms, which is about, 137, I think? 138, my math was right? I'm not sure. Hang on. 61 kilogram is 135. So I was weighing like 137. So you don't really blow back up to where in, Frankie Edgar's situation is that he was fighting 155. So he's fighting guys that are coming out from like 190, 180. all the way down, and they blow right back up. So that's that's two different situations.
Now, tell me more about, like, the science and stuff like that behind how one does their hydration protocol. So is it something like, because I know they don't want large weight cuts, they want to keep people from doing that kind of stuff. So is it as simple as something like there's like a 5-pound differential? You want to be, say, 135 and then around that way, but if a guy blows up a little bit, hydrates a little bit, he can get to, say, 138, 140, something like that, but he can't get any more. Is that how it's supposed to work? It's supposed to be something close like that?
Well, it just makes people fight more of their natural weight, and instead of trying to blow up, instead of, walk around, 190 pounds, and I want to fight at 170. Like, for example, Eddie Alvarez, he can make 155. I can make 125 pounds, but it's all, at the end of the day, is to make sure the athlete is healthy, right? If you were to go all the lines to see, when I made 125, it was unhealthy. When Eddie made 155, he was probably unhealthy and dehydrated, right? He made the weight, but at what extent, at what cost of his kidneys, his liver, just everything. And that's what one wants to do, is make sure the athletes are healthy. So, you see a guy, you know, you look at Max Holloway now. When he fought at 155, yeah, he looks small compared to Dustin Poirier, but that's Max Holloway's natural weight. When he cuts to 145, he's cutting from 170, 175, you know, 180. Just a huge drastic cut. So, you know, if he was to come to one championship, he'll fight at 155, and he'll fight other guys. And what's his name? Dustin Poirier is a legit 155er because he used to make that weight cut to 145, and he was outspoken. So it's like making 145 would just kill me because I would, you know, focus more in camp on just my calorie deficiency instead of training. So now I'm gonna fight at 155. It's easy for me to make. I don't have to kill myself. So that's, you know, Max and Dustin this weekend, they fought more at their natural weight. To where when I competed, I fought more at my natural weight. Yes, I can make 125, and I probably can do it hydrated, but I don't want to go through a lifestyle change just to make weight where I'm 32 now. I've done a lot in my career. Now it's about putting on great performances.
Now, a lot of people, especially here in the States, were kind of up in arms in a way because we're so used to seeing an event, the press conference, weigh-in, and stuff like that. Now, one doesn't really show the weigh-ins, which makes people wonder and you know, kind of curious about it. In your experience with the weight cut, did you feel anything odd about it, or felt on the up and up, and you know they just didn't show it to us, the media or fans?
What do you mean by that?
Was everything kosher, so to speak, with the weight cut, with the weigh-in, with all those things that, you know, to be on the level, so no one is questioning, one, that they're not doing stuff on the level, which they do, because they don't show the weigh-in, like, live on video. Was your experience completely normal, like any promotion would?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, at the end of the day, when they do it, you know, I went down there at 1 p.m. Local time, which was Japan time, waited, and they're like, all right, Demetrious, you're up first. Let's test your urine to make sure you're hydrated. Boom, you're hydrated. Okay, boom, please step on the scale. 61 kilograms. Thank you so much for making weight. Sign this off right here. That way we know you've made hydration and you've also made weight. We'll see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Make sure you're hydrated and make sure you're on weight. What about my business? So, you know, for them, they're not really focused on keeping all the athletes there to do a big, giant, you know, weigh-in ceremony and all that stuff. They kind of do that when it comes to the press conference. You know, we had a big press conference the day before weigh-ins. We were all in our suits. We all faced off. Every single one of us looked nice and dappered, and that's what they want to go about. They don't want to try to keep the athletes win because we got to weigh in the next day. You know what I mean? So for North America, it's always about, I just got to make this weight. You know, the battle of competition week shouldn't be about, oh, is this person going to make weight? Oh, how's this person going to look when he does make weight, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. For one step, making sure the athletes are taken care of, make sure the athletes are healthy, you know, weight cut, and the process. And that's also when we do our drug testing. So, you know, a lot of people over probably North America think that everybody over in World Championship is on the juice or whatever, but
Of
no,
course.
it's not the case.
Yeah. Especially with the passive pride and everything, there's always people that wonder, you know?
Yeah, we get drug tested. I got drug tested 2 times. I got drug tested the day before. I got tested Saturday because we fought on Saturday, right? I think we fought on Sunday. Yeah, we fought Sunday. So I got tested Saturday on my last weigh-in check, and then I got tested right after the fight. Took 2 samples, got my numbers just like I did with USADA. They sent it to the WADA lab, and then just like it was when I fought in North America.
That's awesome to know. To also in the post, you did a post-fight interview with Mark Raimondi from MMA Fighting, and you talked to him a bit about that you would like to add some muscle. And I did a podcast with like a strength coach from ATT for a time, and I know that fine line when you add muscle, you know, you don't want it to change your style and stuff like that. So, I mean, you're a very smart fighter. You're one of the smartest in the business. What is like your strategic plan for getting bigger to handle that size differences in those instances in the future, while also avoiding hurting some of your, you know, greatest qualities like your speed and your cardio?
I don't think I'll be able to put size on. The reason why is because one of my greatest strengths as an athlete is my conditioning. And in order for me to actually put like serious muscle and mass on my body, I'm not going to do that. I've been building my conditioning since I was in 2nd grade, elementary, And I built it by running miles and miles and miles. When I got to middle school, I ran track, ran miles and miles. When I got in high school, I ran miles and miles across country and wrestled. So, the way my body is right now is how the rest of my life, unless I want to, stop competing and just focus on bodybuilding. But even then, I just love the feeling of being able to run, for a very long time to be able to push my heart rate. And when you do that, you seriously, calories which you need to be able to put weight on.
Mm-hmm. Now, your first fight in Japan, out of the way, how did you like the experience? And did you at all, stay longer in Japan to, enjoy the country or anything like that?
You're right here. It's because I'm going through the forest. I'll have you back in a little bit. But the experience was amazing. I got there 10 days before the competition. So I had, 5 days to myself to experience the culture of Japan. It's my fourth time visiting the country. So I was able to do a lot of things. I took this, the JR line, learned how to take the train station. I also got to train at a gym out there, experience the whole foreigner culture thing, experience the whole foreigner athlete thing. So once I got done with competing, I jumped on the plane, flew to Thailand, and had to spend 5 days out in Thailand.
Now, you are not able to have Matt Hume in your corner because of his position with the promotion. It may seem like a small thing to some, but it's a big difference not having that voice you've known for so long in your corner. After one fight without him, talk to me about not having that voice there, and did it affect you in any way?
It is definitely different not having him there, but it's the evolution of an athlete, evolution of a martial artist. I think, Matt said to me one time that, the student shows up, gets all the knowledge he needs, and the student packs up and goes about his journey. So that's essentially what's going on now is, I still train with Matt. It's still, he's still the head coach and all that stuff, but with his position in the company, it shows favoritism. Like even when it comes to matchmaking or offering me fights, he doesn't do it. Mm-hmm. So it's different, but we're getting used to it. It's the first time not having him. I have my training partners in the corner. James and Tony, and those guys, we train all the time together, and they did an amazing job, and we were able to go out there and get the victory. And in the very first round, I battled adversity. It's not the first time, I've had trouble in my fights before, but I'm strong-willed, got a lot of heart, and I'm just going to keep on powering through whatever it takes to get it done.
Is there a specific point man you now have? Because you mentioned your trading partners. Is there of the two, are there's specific point man who heads up most things, and why do you have a confidence in that person that they can fill the void of Matt Hume without an issue?
Well, obviously they won't be able to fill the void completely of Matt Hume, but James he competes. He's an amateur, so he's competed before. We spar each other all the time. He's a bigger dude than me, but we still train. And I've been in his corner, and he's been in my corner, and we basically have this, kind of, unspoken, I guess, warrior code that we know what each other needs to do. We both are in this sport to, make money and to create a legacy. And then Tony, he's been around the sport forever. I train with him almost every day as well. And once again, he's very soft-spoken. And Matt told us, before we went out there, he says, worrying or being freaked out doesn't get anything done. If you have a first bad round, second round, you recollect and figure out how you're going to get the third round of it and win the fight, the third round. So, and when you have those conversations, and like I said, I'm in a position now in my career where I've done 11 consecutive title defenses. I've been a world champ for 6 years, right? So nothing I do now is ever going to, try out that. Obviously, if I become, the one flyweight world champion and also the UFC flyweight champion, that will, that's a great accomplishment. But I feel me winning that belt still won't, overshadow what I've already accomplished in my career. So when I have that reality set in my mind, I'm just focused on going out there, putting on grazing fights, still going out there competing, and still showing that I'm one of the best athletes in the world.
Now, you went into depth in that same Mark Raimondi interview I mentioned before with talking about the frustration of some fans where they think, okay, this guy leaves the UFC, he's not going to get the same competition, and it's going to be easier. And can you talk more about that? That that you can go outside the UFC and still get very good competition, and it's a dangerous, tough sport. It's a tough sport at the highest level. So when you go to Bellator PFL, one, you can lose, and talk about the talent in one and how good it is, and all those kinds of things, and that misperception about when you leave the UFC and the talent level.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's fighting. Fighting is fighting. So anything can happen. That's the first thing. And two, out there are some big fish and big killers. And a lot of athletes don't want to come over to North America to compete because they don't want to have to go through the process of actually legit weight cuts, and they don't want to make the trip over, or they just don't never get picked up, or they just like to, do fight in Japan or choose a different organization which is going to fit their brand the best, right? Bibiano Fernandes is a perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
Bibiano Fernandes he's 39 years old. He just turned 39, but he was the Dream champion. He was the I believe he was Rise. I know he's Dream champion. Never lost in a very long time. And he had the opportunity to come to North America to compete. And he took a step back. He goes, you know what? That's not good for my brand.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the way these. And he's like, I don't like the way these organizations are going.
Mm-hmm.
And two, he's like the pay is shit too. He goes 15 and 15. Are you kidding me? He goes, I got 3 children and a wife. He goes, you think I care about being a fucking world champion? He goes, I'm a 5-time Brazilian world jiu-jitsu champion. I'm a dream champion. I'm all this. He goes, I'm looking for the place that's going to fit my brand the best and is going to be able to set me up for success after I'm done with my career. I can retire. So right there, if everybody thinks that Bibiano is not a legit athlete, then you are smoking some crack. But there's always a bigger fish in the sea, and necessarily it's not North America. It could be in Japan. And there's been athletes who've been very successful in the UFC who have gone over to Japan and get destroyed, by no names. I mean, Justin Scoggins is another guy. He was doing well in the UFC. I felt that he won his last fight against the Russian, and then boom, he goes over there, fights a guy that I'd never heard of, and gets choked out in the first round with a TP choke. I mean, just right there. And obviously, who knows what he was going on in his life or in his camp. But at the end of the day, just shows you, it doesn't matter what organization you fight for. A fight's a fight. You can lose it to anybody, and that's what it is.
Now, I want to ask some questions about general topics in the sport, UFC stuff, other things from fighting on one. But what are your thoughts on the UFC flyweight title situation right now? You defended it more than anyone, and it's a record. Let's be honest, nobody's going to break that record. And if they do, it's going to take a long time. What were your thoughts on Dillashaw moving down and losing, and then Cejudo not defending the title against someone, say, like Benavidez or Formiga, and instead is now probably going to go up and fight Moraes? I mean, what do you helped to build that division, and it seems to be almost floundering despite having very good talent.
No, I think the division's doing great. I think Henry Cejudo's doing a great job. He defended the belt against TJ Dillashaw, knocked him out in the first round. Now he's going to have the opportunity to go up to bantamweight to get a second belt while they figure out who the number one contender is, which is going to be the fight against Joseph Benavidez and Jussier Formiga. So boom, right there. And then let's say Henry Cejudo loses to Marlon Moraes. He'll go down there and defend his belt against the number one contender. So I think the division is in a great spot. I mean, right now, if you look at bantamweight, there's not really a clear-cut number one contender. I thought it was TJ versus Marlon, but obviously TJ had a mishap. So now I think it makes perfect sense. I think everything over there is going smooth. And I think Henry's a great, person to carry that torch.
Well, I mean, I've talked to, a lot of people, of course, media. Now, you have a much different an idea on this because you're in it. I mean, if, like, having Formiga and Benavidez, the idea could be it eliminates another contender. I mean, and for a person that has defended that title so many times, and Anderson Silva defended his title so many times and so on, do you not feel it's almost the responsibility of a champion to continue to defend his title, especially when there's, more than one possible contender? Or is it really up to what he wants to do? And if the league lets him do it, then so be it. Do what you want to do.
Well, I think at the end of the day, the athlete's got to make as much money as possible. So if Henry Cejudo believes that he's going to make as much money going out being, a dual weight champion, then he has a little more of what's the word I'm looking for? He has more leverage in his pocket, right? Because I've been there before. I've been defending champion, did it, 11 consecutive times, but I still wasn't at the pay that I wanted to be. But maybe if I would have gotten up and fought at bantamweight and I was dual weight champion, maybe I would have more say so. So that's probably, Henry Cejudo's thinking. And at the end of the day, you can't tell, an athlete what's best for his career because he knows, right? He knows, what he's getting his, in his bank account. He knows what he wants to do, where his heart lies. So, I mean, I can understand from the media's perspective that there's contenders in that division for him to fight. He doesn't need to go fight at 135. I totally get that too. But, it's a very short amount of time we have in his career, and he wants to make the best of it. So, at the end of the day, shit, why the hell not? It's not like, he's going to retire. If he wins, and you see, like, hey, you have a choice. Either defend the bantamweight belt or the flyweight belt. Okay, let one go, boom, go do it. Or do both. Who knows?
Great answer. That's exactly why I asked you. Now, going back to Dillashaw, PEDs has been a major subject in the sport again because of the positive test he recently had for EPO. In the last few years, we've had Dillashaw, John Jones, Machida, Mirko Crocop, Ben Rothwell, Frank Mir, many others test positive PEDs. Also, there have been many stories outside of the cage that are negative. Conor McGregor with phones, domestic abuse allegations for Tony Ferguson, Matt Hughes, BJ Penn. Does the sport, because I asked the same question to Phil Davis like a couple hours ago, because, you have great minds and can really give honest answers. Does the sport have like a crisis of conscience issue right now? And with things trending in the wrong direction reputation wise for MMA?
Well, I think in North America, that's the trend going on. I think if you look over in Asia, it's looking, pretty damn good and fantastic. It's over in Asia, the culture of the sport is, you always show respect, honor, a lot of people out there. I'm sure there are people out there who are making, the same six, but in Japan, drugs are illegal. You can't get marijuana and you can't get cocaine. So I think for athletes there, it's no bueno. Manila, you get that stuff. And I think with the, the EPO stuff and the drug testing and all that stuff, it happens. I think athletes around the world are going to be doing it. And, it is what it is. It's not just mixed martial arts, but it's other sports as well. And then as far as, the wife disputes and all the, people are going to be people. Just because you're athletes doesn't mean you're going to get a free pass to go do it all you want. People are going to be people. There's going to be marital disputes. There's going to be restraining orders on these athletes and athletes acting, different who've been in the game for a very long time. It is what it is. People are going to be people.
I asked him too, and he wasn't sure because, like, what can MMA promotions do in those instances to kind of bring a balance and like clean up the reputation? Would you prefer? Especially you're on the one side and one pushes those kind of martial arts ideology. Should promotions try to do more outreach in communities and charity events and things like you might see a professional sports league do in their local region or whatever? Should UFC and Bellator, some of these promotions try to do that to show a positive balance to what these fighters are?
You can't show positive balance if it's not built in the culture of your organization, right? You can't have one of your stars do something like throw a dolly into a bus and then turn around and use that footage to promote a fight. You're just promoting what he just did to sell pay-per-views, essentially. And that's not me, talking crap or, saying that's basically what they did. That's verbatim what they did. So, I'm pretty sure if I were to throw a dolly into a bus in a one championship, event, I'm pretty sure I would get cut. I'm sure I would never fight up ever again. And here's the example. Okay, here's the example. Okay, something happened to one of my friends at the event. He got in another athlete's face, right? Okay. And then that athlete went to a higher up, not a higher up. He went to one of the people who were working at the event and won championship. And when they heard that, they're like, "Okay, he's not in the corner. He is." It was only one time, and there was something actually physical. Nothing physical happened at all, but he did something that was not okay, and they're like, hey, you're not in the corner anymore. You're out of the locker room, and if you do something again, you're going to get kicked out of this hotel. And it wasn't even like no punches were thrown, nothing bad. Like something that was minor, something that wouldn't even be brought up over North America, was brought up over there, and they're like, that's not what we're about here. Like we're not about trying to show intimidation to the athletes or anything like that. Like you're here to show respect. You're here to, you know, live the culture of a martial artist. And if you do it again, you will not fight for you won't be part of this company anymore. So they don't play that shit over there. And I like that. That's how it should be. I have no problem. I have absolutely no problem with that whatsoever. Like I totally agreed with One Championship's, you know, motion to put a stop to that. I'll tell you what, he didn't do anything else. His ass was behaving like he should have. And that's how it should be.
Yeah.
People should be fucking up.
Yep.
I mean, right? You're there to fight. At the end of the day, fight. You know, if the fans want to see something else, tell their ass to go watch some drama channel, and they'll get that shit. Tell them to go watch it.
Now, and this perfectly transitions to my next question, because I had a real good conversation with Michael Schiavello a few days ago, and I asked him about working for Chatri, and because I've talked to Chatri too before, and like, what is it like working for him and as a boss? And he talked about his passion for martial arts, of course, passion for the promotion, but passion for the martial arts, and he has the kind of slogan lines were all about respect, honor, humility. But you know, when you really talk to people that know him, you see it. And he also brought up the fact that when talking to you, that you were refreshed by the idea to what your experiences with One so far, that to live those virtues of a martial artist that you really weren't able to display elsewhere in the UFC and stuff like that. Talk to me about how important that is to you, to be able to display those values of a martial artist under the One Championship umbrella, and working for someone like Chatri, who I've been told spars with Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champions, love martial arts, all those kinds of things.
Yeah, I mean, Chachi's a breath of fresh air. I mean, he's very knowledgeable in the sport of not just in mixed martial arts, but in martial arts in general. I mean, we're out in Thailand, and he was training more than I was. And doing Muay Thai and stuff, and you know, all the other athletes were working out together, and it's just a different culture. Like, you know, me and Adrian Reyes. I mean, me and him are, you know, we're probably on the collision course to fight each other eventually, but we're out there playing volleyball together. Like there was no like that animosity whatsoever. So it's just a different type of culture. Yes. Wait till I talk to mom. So it's just totally different, right? And with, like I said, with Chatri being the person he is and being involved in this sport and actually being able to compete and fight, before he understands what it takes to get ready for a fight, he understands what us athletes go through. And, you know, at the end of the day, you know, it's nice.
Now, one last question. Really super appreciate the time. I know you're busy. I hear the kids are there. Now, just short answer, basic kind of quick answer, quick hit quote. What would you say to any free agents on this side of the globe who have interest in One? Why should they seriously consider joining you and Sage Northcutt and and Vitor Belfort and Eddie Alvarez? Why should they really seriously consider One Championship?
I think at the end of the day, like, I'm not going to tell them why. I'm going to tell them what my experience has been so far. I think at the end of the day, always test your worth, you know. Don't ever tell them what you are worth. You know, always fight for what you believe that you deserve. Enjoy the experience. You know, I've experienced my whole Thai career over in North America for the past, you know, I don't know how long I've been fighting. To be able to experience something else outside of North America and just go to a different country and compete. And a lot of athletes have done that. You know, Rampage, Pro Cop, Shogun, so they made their name over in Japan. Now they're over here fighting in North America. So, and I think at the biggest day, you know, at the end of the day, you know, One Championship is an amazing organization. They look out to the athletes, and they're focused on building your brand. That way, after you're done fighting, whether you win or you lose, you're successful. Like, you know, I've been in different places. I mean, not the places, but different organization. And, you know, when I was really surprised when I saw the athletes who like Sunday night in Japan, that they were there at the retreat and they were on the beach shooting content, like filming. Like, North America, if you lose, they want that, you know, organizations don't want to film content with
Mm-hmm.
do, you know, an hour photo shoot with you or a video shoot with you because you just lost. Like, you're probably on your way out. You lose another one, you're done. But in one, there were shooting content with every single person, every single one of the athletes. And that right there, I was shocked by that. I just truly was. And I was like, hey, good for you guys. I like that. That's good.